Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Players Own channel. And what a game last night. Declan Rice, the heroes. Arsenal win a dramatic 4-3 game at Luton. Gee, what a game this one was. I didn't get to see it live, but the first thing in the morning was chuck the game on, watch it back. And it was an entertainment fest. Considering the way Luton played their football, you wouldn't have thought that. But they were really, really good last night. It seems like, as I've said in recent weeks, they've found their formula that they are attacking on counter-attacks with the likes of Barkley in deep places, playing these great balls through. They've got the pace in the flanks with Chong, and this game it was Andros Townsend as well. And to be honest, very, very impressed with the centre-back, Tadane Mengi, at the back there, alongside Bell. Hopefully he made a mistake, but was very solid as well. But those defenders were very, very good in Lockyer's absence, and they put up an absolutely massive fight to stay in the game versus Arsenal. They were very good in the counter-attack. They pounced on any sort of half chance they got. I think only having the 8 shots in the game, 6 on target, and scoring 3 goals. And you'd mostly think that would get you a win, but Arsenal being the team they are, go and score 4, go and score the 97th minute winner there at Declan Rice and win the game. And coming from the game, obviously a lot to talk about Luton, but this video is all about Arsenal. This team now is looking very, very dangerous. It's always sign of a good team when you can win not playing well, which you've seen so far this season. But when your back's up against the wall and it's a tough game away from home, we saw last season Nottingham Forest, Everton are probably the two that stand out as the biggest two, as well as others as well. But those two were the ones where they're against lower sides, and Arsenal ended up losing those games, and that ended up hurting their title race chances. This year, though, it's a mentality shift that, soft underbelly that people have, talked about them last season and Arsenaling it up and bottling it. It's not quite there anymore. They've brought in key players, Kai Havertz, Declan Rice. These two both score the goals that complete the turnaround from 3-2 down to 4-3 up. They've brought in players. They've got the mentality now. Those players who were a part of that group last season that, so tragically lost the title from an almost unlosable position, many said. They've got that mentality now to how to win the league, what they need to do week in, week out, how they need to win these sort of games when their back were up against the wall. And what an impressive performance it was, and the fact that, Luton were very, very good. Arsenal were not at their best, but they were still very good in parts and patches. But when it had to happen, when they had to find a way to scrap through or, get a goal over the line, it came. And what a player as well, Declan Rice, to do it. I've been talking about him now for the last year and a half, and since this podcast started, I've raved about him from start to finish. I've absolutely loved the progression of Declan Rice from being that young kid on the block for West Ham as someone who's purely someone to break the play up, to put in a tackle and to play defensively, doing someone who's more progressive and can get on the ball, to being a player that can spread the play, initiate the attack, be a key counter-attack sort of initiator for West Ham. And now in this Arsenal team, being someone who can pop up for goals, can clean up the back line, can carry the ball in possession, can find the pass. He does it all. And he's really won out there in their midfield, especially when you got Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard like last night. Those guys progress on. It's literally just Declan Rice in the back three at times because Zinchenko or whether it be Ben White or Kiwi or one of them get forward. So he's basically a part of a back four as well, and he does everything for Arsenal. He mops up the mistakes, he cleans up the midfield, he dominates midfield battles and single-handedly basically wins midfield battles on his own. And, if there's any player to pop up at an important time, you've seen Declan Rice as that guy. Basically the winner versus Manchester United to make the game 2-1. He scored a goal in the 2-2 draw versus Chelsea, and the winner last night in the 97th minute versus Luton. This is a big-time player, and I've always said, people could mock it and all that stuff, but he won the trophy with West Ham, the Conference League. That's a big deal. That took a lot for that team to go and win that trophy. Takes a lot of leadership being the captain of that side, and it takes understanding moments and understanding games to go and win a trophy like that. All those West Ham players would experience it, especially Declan Rice. He's going to win a trophy. Most of these Arsenal players have never won a trophy. He's got that over these guys. And, I know it's a small thing like winning a game in the 97th minute, but that's the sort of players that will lift up in these situations. Martin Odegaard had a bad game. It's Kai Havertz, who's won a Champions League for Chelsea, who pops up with a handy goal. It's Declan Rice, who's won a Conference League with West Ham, who pops up with a winner. It's these players I've brought in. People have mocked Kai Havertz. I have as well. People haven't really seen the best of Declan Rice at the start of the season. They weren't talking about him. but now you have to talk about him. His all-round game has been ridiculous. Kai Havertz is coming into a great purple patch here. 3 goals in his last 4 games with only 3 starts in there as well. So 3 goals and 3 starts. It's just ridiculous. Like, this guy has turned it around, and I sort of expected it, to be honest. Going to Arsenal, a system that they'd try and work around him, they tried to make him work, playing a bit more progressively. Martin Odegaard should have playing more as the 8. Kai Havertz the furthest midfielder forward, and he gets in danger spots and he converts. And like, that was a real only problem for Chelsea last season. He wasn't able to convert in front of goal. And sometimes a fresh environment and fresh faces and a new manager can do that for you. So you're seeing Kai Havertz in the goals. You're seeing Declan Rice in the goals and winning games of football for you. These are 2 things that have changed in terms of signings, but also the mentality thing. As I said, they were known for that soft underbelly for arsenaling it up or bottling it last season. But they've obviously learned from that. They've gone forward and they've taken it on board and they've adapted this season. And I think the biggest thing is, like I've said all year round, I do not think they've got out of second gear so far this season. Cruised most games, got some solid results, got some touch and go results, but they all built it off defence. And in this game, the defence wasn't working. But what we saw once again was their quality up top. They've got all these players, the front 6 basically, the front 3. We know how good they are. We've got Havertz there now, Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice now is a part of that sort of front 6. They've got all that talent there. And when the defense isn't quite working like it was last night, Luton exploited them on the counter and the ability to be clinical in front of goal. Combined with the David Raya mistake, it wasn't quite going for them on that end. But they've got that talent up top to match it. And this is a sign of champions when, something you might hold yourself accountable for, like the defense, like what's been holding them together so well. The defensive structure's been so solid. And that doesn't go right. You've got the quality up top to make it count and score 4. Like, Luton would be thinking, we score 3 against Arsenal, we might win or get at least a point against them. But no, they get nothing out of it. Heartbreak for them, but ecstasy for Arsenal. And I think the biggest thing to take out of it, obviously the impact of Declan Rice. Now, the goals are coming as well, which is impressive, but his all-around game's been massive for Arsenal this season. Supply them with the solidity in midfield and the quality from that DM position. And then also Kai Havertz and the performance he put in as well. Probably his best in an Arsenal shirt so far this season. And it goes to show when you spend your money right, it's 180 million, it's a lot of money. But they've spent it right in 2 players that are making a difference for this unit. And as such, we're seeing the results come through. They're top of the league now, clear by 5 points over Liverpool, I believe. So, stretching obviously there's a game in hand there, but stretching their legs to the top. And it's not quite the same feel as last season. It's got more of this team's been there, this team's done it. We believe a little bit more in this team. And week by week, as I see them grind out results or get a great comeback win, these are results we've seen Man City have in the last few years, and we see champions have the ability to, when nothing seems to be going right or doesn't seem to be going your way, pull a rabbit out the hat. Fergie time you think of a few years back with Gundogan and Bernardo Silva winning it for Man City against Aston Villa to beat Liverpool in the final day. These teams that win trophies, they do it the tough way sometimes, and Arsenal now have got that about them. And I think that's the biggest comparison. Last year, they're dropping points to relegation, candidates. This year, they're beating them in close games, but, working through it and getting the result over the line. So, all I got to say is I'm just so impressed with what Arsenal have done. I'm still not quite there yet, but I'm, 90% sure now that they are the title favourites. They're in the prime position. Man City right now are looking very vulnerable. And the way Arsenal are going about it, they've beaten Man City. They've done one bit. If they can go beat Arsenal in a week or so's time, 100% for me, then they'll be the title favourites. Going to Anfield and winning there would be a great feat. That's something that needs to be ticked off for Arsenal. But outside of that, they've basically done the rest. And upstairs now, mentally, it seems like they're there. They've got the quality of player. They've got some depth in. Rumours about Paulinho joining in January as well to have even more midfield depth. Ivan Toney's still an option for them up top. They've got the right signings. They've made the right signings. They've developed this group. And if more come in along the way, this team's going to be very, very hard to beat. And you can tell Mikel Arteta, he's a very emotional man, but he's on here for the journey. He's bought into this. And right now, it's a very, very hard opposition to go up against. They did it last night. They did it on the weekend. Without being impressive, without being ridiculous, they've gotten 2 massive wins and 6 points. And, the best place to be is top. You don't want to be playing from behind. And right now, Arsenal in prime position and are looking week after week like that title favourite. So that's what I make this video about, to talk about Declan Rice, talk about Kai Havertz, but talk about Arsenal and how they're now probably looking in the box seat as title favourites going into this busy December period. If they can continue to pick up big points, and most importantly, in a few weeks' time, if they can go to Liverpool, get a draw, even get a win, for me, they're my title favourites, and you can't be arguing me otherwise. Right now, Man City, with the history they've got, just edging it for me. But I'm seeing week after week, I'm improved that Arsenal can get it done in tough situations. They've got that backbone now, and they've got the quality of player. So it's absolutely going to be a massive title race this season in the Premier League, because Man City, once again, are coming from behind. That basically wraps up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I just had to make a video about that Arsenal game because it was remarkable from start to finish. Excitement, comebacks, limbs in the away end, Arteta going up and down the touchline. It was the perfect Premier League game and a perfect way to start off this massive, mammoth December coming up in the Premier League. If you enjoyed it, guys, please smack a like on it, subscribe to the Players Own channel, and share the channel for more football, podcasts, and other sporting-based content. Until next time, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on a video very, very soon. See you later.